Thank you Squarespace for sponsoring this video.
Jules Urbach, CEO of OTOY, spoke to me earlier this year, asserting that while Kirk and Spock's stories may be complete, he was more than keen to explore more moments in Star Trek's storied history. The advantage of having access to the Roddenberry archive, a wonderful project that aims to digitally preserve Star Trek's history, means that there's no limit to what OTOY can depict. The new facial masking technology, explained in detail by Sam Witwer on our podcast, allows characters to return through the mists of time. So what doors does that open to the audience? Look, it's hardly a surprise that we have a list of potential events, meetings, departures, and moments ready to go. Star Trek has gifted the fans with as many moments off-screen as it has on-screen when one considers the vast universe in beta canon. Though, that's not to discount the oft-mentioned but seldom-seen moments on-screen. Is it time to revisit Wolf 359? Stock up on torpedoes, make sure your escape pods are fueled, and let's dive in. I'm Sean Ferrick for TrekCulture, and here are 10 Star Trek events OTOY and the Roddenberry archive should explore next. Number 10. The TOMED incident. A tale as old as TOMED itself, this is a frequently discussed topic here on TrekCulture. The TOMED incident, depicted on the page in Serpent Among the Ruins by David R. George III, is a pivotal moment in Star Trek history, though it's also one that seems many miles away from appearing on screen. The incident was the catalyst for the Treaty of Algeron, a monumental moment in the Alpha and Beta quadrants. Captain John Harriman, formerly of the Enterprise B and Starfleet Intelligence, engineered a false flag operation that effectively forced the Romulan Star Empire to the negotiating table. Depicting it as a short film comes with challenges. There's a lot of context to cram into a short space of time. However, so much can be done with a look, a line of text, and some well-placed pictograms on a screen. Alan Ruck could easily employ the facial masking technology designed by OTOY to appear closer to his age in Star Trek Generations, although almost as many years have passed in the real world as had between the Enterprise B's maiden voyage and the TOMED incident. For an event of such galactic import, this seems like a wonderful option to explore. Number 9. The first flight of the Enterprise. It feels odd talking about this in 2025, but the launch of the original Enterprise has never been depicted on screen. The closest that the audience has come to seeing it was in Star Trek, though of course that was an alternate reality. As the 60th anniversary of the franchise approaches, when is there a better time to launch the ship that started it all? OTOY's short film 765874 shows the Enterprise as it appeared in The Cage and Where No Man Has Gone Before, parked in San Francisco, serving as a museum. For this to fit an established canon, then this must occur before the refit the audience sees in the motion picture. Having already depicted an ending of sorts for this ship, depicting its beginning feels like a natural next step. Will we see keel being laid on Earth as suggested in Star Trek, or will the entire ship be built in orbit? Will Scott Bakula return for a guest appearance, fulfilling the prophecy, so to speak, teased in A Mirror Darkly? Nostalgia is a powerful force alive and well in the franchise today. Showing us the beginning of it all would be a treat for the ages. Number 8. The last flight of the Enterprise C. With a recent Section 31 streaming movie, Rachel Garrett has been reintroduced to audiences. She was referenced in Star Trek Picard's 3rd season, but her last full appearance, which was also her first, came in yesterday's Enterprise. Trisha O'Neill originated the role of the first female captain on a ship named Enterprise, only to be killed off halfway through the episode. Little is known about the Enterprise C's history, save for its ending. While there is a lot of power in only knowing about a heroic sacrifice, I gotta confess myself a little unsatisfied with what we got. The Ambassador-class ship, introduced in the form of the Sea, is also criminally underused in Star Trek. Seela's story in Redemption Part 2 confirmed that there were survivors from the ship, including Tasha Yar. A depiction of the Battle of Narendra 3, featuring Denise Crosby returning to the role, would be a gift for Trekkies and Trekkers everywhere. She was notably absent from the Picard reunion in 2023, though she was not forgotten. Showing us the last cruise of the Enterprise C, as well as the return of Denise Crosby to the franchise, would be a fitting way to mark the next generation's 40th anniversary, which falls in 2027. Number 7. The Enterprise J moves a colony. OTOY and the Roddenberry archive have already teased us with this one. Their gorgeous update of Doug Drexler's design, glimpsed so briefly in Azati Prime, finally revealed the ship's original mission, moving colonies through the galaxy. The Universe-class Enterprise J's immense size wasn't a simple evolution of every Enterprise, bar the G, gets bigger as we go, but rather it served an updated version of the Enterprise D's mission. The Galaxy-class vessels were big enough to move colonists for a short period of time, as well as host conferences, dignitaries, and the like. The Universe-class was no short-term solution. They could move thousands of people across vast distances, effectively serving as a starting point for any new colony. We may have seen a hint of this in 765874 Unification, as the garden in which Kirk walks may well be aboard the J. If this is the case, then we have seen the inside of the ship. Let us now see the exterior of this graceful beast flying through the stars. Number 6. The impact of the burn. While my feelings on the burn might have been cool to begin with, there is a wealth of storytelling available thanks to its explosive impact. Star Trek Starfleet Academy will feature at least 2 characters who may have personally witnessed the burn, but we the audience have currently only seen things 100 years on from the event. We now know the cause of the burn, but what of the short-term impact? OTOY and the Roddenberry archive, with access to the models of every ship available to them, could easily depict not only the explosions, but the aftermath and domino effect across the surviving fleets. What of the Klingons? What of the Ni'Var? What of the Breen? How were these empires, alliances, and conglomerations affected by the burn? We must acknowledge the difficulty of handling this in a short film, but therein lies the challenge. Rather than focusing on the destruction wrought by Su'Kal's admittedly accidental outburst, what of the survivors? What of the planets suddenly cut off from interstellar travel, at least at warp speed? Number 5. The 7th Fleet. 7 seems to be an unlucky number when it comes to the fleets of Star Trek. A Time to Stand opened Deep Space Nine's 6th season with the devastating reveal of the 7th Fleet's fate. After a brutal battle with the Dominion, 14 ships returned to Federation space out of 112. While we will discuss Wolf 359 in a few moments here, this single battle in the Dominion War proved more deadly than the cornerstone event in Star Trek history, yet it's rarely mentioned. For morale, for offensive strength, and for the defense of freedom, the destruction of the 7th Fleet was a moment in time that should have echoed through the centuries. Perhaps the lack of depiction has played into its fading. While OTOY and the Roddenberry archive have focused on character beats to date, this early annihilation of Federation and Klingon forces would serve as a reminder of the impact of the Dominion War, and perhaps serve to explain, if not condone, some of the Machiavellian methods of Section 31 as the war raged on. Number 4. Wolf 359 and Aftermath. Wolf 359, despite no longer serving as the most devastating battle in Star Trek's history, in terms of numbers lost at least, still finds itself at the top of many lists of unseen moments or battles we need to see. OTOY and the Roddenberry archive would not be the first to depict it, should they decide to do so. JTVFX has already created a phenomenal rendition of the battle on their YouTube channel, while the Wolf 359 project has created a stellar oral history of the battle, the run-up, and the aftermath. With a glut of content available, this is a project that, at least in my opinion, might be best served by a collaboration between these powers. Wolf 359 remains a chilling and crippling moment in Star Trek's history and serves as a turning point in how stories were told in the Trek universe. Though we are closer now than we have ever been to seeing the full scale of the battle, we have still yet to find a definitive single narrative. Perhaps we're being greedy here, but with several versions available, can we not have our cake and eat it too? Number 3. Voyager returns home. As the final scene of Endgame aired, the USS Voyager joined a small force of familiar Starfleet vessels heading towards Earth, and the credits cut to black. It wasn't quite Don't Stop Believin', but it wasn't what we'd call satisfying either. Star Trek Lower Decks and Star Trek Picard have both depicted the original Voyager after its return to the Alpha Quadrant, but those first few moments after exiting that Borg sphere remain shrouded in mystery. The opening to Endgame offered a swooping flight across San Francisco's Bay. Any nuclear vessels on show? But there were no reunions, no landings, no moments of catharsis for the longest away mission in Starfleet history. OTOY and the Roddenberry archive have already proven their salt at depicting ships coming home, so why not the intrepid crew of the Intrepid class? Imagine the ship coming into land in full 4K resolution, parking on the grounds of Starfleet Academy in the evening sun. We know that it will head off again to the Portello system, but could it not first take a moment to bask in the light of a long-awaited homecoming? Number 2. The NX-01 has her refit. Star Trek Picard managed to confirm what had previously been teased. Enterprise NX-01 did in fact receive a refit, an additional secondary hull, and continued to serve for several years after Demons and Terra Prime. First spotted as a model on a young Jean-Luc's table, the updated design by Doug Drexler managed to bring the militaristic, submarine style of the NX-01 a little closer to the smooth style of Matt Jeffrey's 1701. However, the best we've managed to see is a background glimpse and out-of-scale models. It's time the ship got her due. While Season 5 of Star Trek Enterprise remains a dream, the refit in full relief need not do so. Imagine a relaunch of the ship, the motion picture style, sliding out of space dock. We've given plenty of examples of our frankly disturbing attraction to those kind of scenes, and so we're not going to pretend that this isn't pure wish fulfillment here. Let's also bear in mind the recent rumblings discussed by Riker Mike Sussman and Scott Bakula about the potential for a Star Trek United series too. Dear OTOY and the Roddenberry archive, please deliver on ship porn for me. Sincerely, me. Number 1. The Captain's Table. Star Trek Starfleet Academy's teaser trailer blew our collective minds with the image adorning one of the many computer consoles. Sam seems to be studying up on the fate of Captain Sisko, and now we're all a little sad that he seemingly never did come home to Cassidy. However, while Sisko's fate may be shrouded in celestial mystery, OTOY and the Roddenberry archive have an opportunity here. Their digital masking technology allowed Sam Witwer to revive a Generations-era William Shatner and Lawrence Selleck to bring Leonard Nimoy's Spock back to us again. Avery Brooks, the time is now. As the 60th anniversary of Star Trek approaches, an opportunity for the meetup to end all meetups exists. The Captain's Table is a series of crossover novels written by several different authors that features an extra-dimensional bar that is only accessible by Starfleet captains. In 2005, the anthology Tales from the Captain's Table updated the roster of characters to include Jonathan Archer and William T. Riker. Here is an opportunity to 1. Bring Sisko back in a way that doesn't alter any timelines. 2. Bring actors back via digital masking technology to appear alongside each other as they would have appeared in their series. And 3. Offer the fandom a crossover that would be next to impossible to outdo. Imagine Captain Burnham learning from Captain Sisko. Imagine Captain Freeman swapping stories with Captain Janeway. Imagine Captain Pike getting grooming advice from Captain Gwyn. Though the how and the how long may be a monumental undertaking, there could be no better gift to the fans than to bring every era together under one roof, delivered by those with the technology and the energy to make it happen.
Hi, I'm Duncan Rillick, and I collect relics from before the burn. My store, Relics by Rillick, is open on Starbase 80. Yes, it is still there. And whatever quantum reality you're from, you can check me out thanks to Squarespace. Squarespace's all-in-one website platform is the best tool to help we entrepreneurs succeed in this galaxy. Thanks to Squarespace, I can link Relics by Rillick's social accounts and multimedia, letting you see everything I've discovered through that portal. Squarespace also allows me to use built-in email campaigns and marketing tools to fundraise on my site too, because it helps me fund my travels, because they are not cheap. Squarespace also has fantastic SEO doodads that let us show up more often and to more civilizations. Don't forget to stay one step ahead of the Breen though. Speaking of, Squarespace uses Starfleet approved design intelligence AI technology. You get to stay in control and build your own personalized wonderful website. Go to squarespace.com/TrekCulture for a free trial and 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Remember, if it ain't Rillick, then it ain't a relic. No relation.
And that's everything for our list today, folks. Thank you so much for watching along, and thank you so much everyone who is subscribing to the channel. It makes a difference. Thank you everyone who has picked up merch along the way. If you would like to as well, you can do so by following the link under the description of this video. Please make sure you're following us on the various socials. We are at TrekCulture, or at TrekCultureYT on Instagram. Until I see you again, make sure that you live long and prosper. Be kind to each other. This is a world so badly in need of peace, and all we can do is help spread that peace to each other and to those who need it the most. So please, if there is one thing that you do this week, it's try and put some peace out in the world. Thank you so much, and I'll see you soon.